It is 6:00 p.m. We will call this regular September 20th, 2021 council meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Berglund,
Yes.
McCauley,
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Need a motion for tonight's meeting agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion about the meeting agenda? If not, call the roll, please.
Berglund,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
McCauley.
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Schott.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to tonight's consent agenda. Tonight we have approval of the minutes of the September 7th, 2021 regular council meeting. Payments for contract services, we have none tonight. Claims, registers, and financials totaling $1,023,964.93. And we have no licenses or permits tonight. Need a motion to approve the items under the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling. Yes. Klein.
Yes.
Berglund,
Yes.
McCauley.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Thank you. City Administrator's report.
All right, I don't have too much, but the one update I do have is that we're continuing to work on the solar project for the on-site solar. I believe today they started out at the rec center, getting the roof ready to put the solar up there. So they're just kind of getting that ready, waiting on racking, and then they're hoping that steel will be here in the November timeframe to get that up and panels on before snow flies. But probably in the next couple of weeks, you'll also see some boring going on in the downtown area for some of these buildings down here. So you'll see some activity in construction, but they'll probably have to leave that bore pit open until they're able to get the footings poured. But again, they're hoping to have all that ready and done so that when that steel gets here, they can just put it up and get going. So they're at it and they're working hard on it. So that's what I've got for my update. Anybody have any questions for me?
Are they pouring concrete piers or something?
Yeah, and I believe there's something like 12 feet in the ground or something. So it's quite the footing for those. So. Yep, and like 3 feet around or 4 feet around. Wow. So they're pretty massive. Also waiting on all of the rebar for the steel for the support within those footings too. So other than that, I think the project is going well and contractor is good. Project managers trying to keep up with them. So
Good.
Yep.
Anything else for Sven? If not, we'll move on to mayor council comments.
I just got a question.
Okay.
for Sven. Sven, we haven't talked much about the hotel and hotel management. Right? Do you have any updates on what's going on with that?
yeah, well, I can share that, operations of the hotel are going really well. Things are going smoothly. They're staying really busy. Do need staff, frontline staff, especially wait staff, bartenders, things like that. So that's causing some issues, but then also still trying to work through the management scenario and if we can find a management company to come in and help us or not. So we had one come and visit and we're kind of exploring some others as well. So kind of going back to our list and seeing if the last 6 months has changed anything in their world and if they have any more interest now. So
Is there going to be any decisions made on a management company soon?
yeah, it's kind of having a hard time gaining a little bit of traction on communicating with some of them, but we're hoping to have something figured out pretty soon here.
We need somebody to come in and give us a presentation and.
You bet.
Yeah. We
I
need
was
to look
just
into
wondering,
that.
will it be by the first of the year? You think we'll have somebody? Or what's
I'm
going
not
on?
sure. I think kind of the feeling right now, the mayor is on the committee as well, but the feeling right now is that things are going well. So we don't really want to rush into, finding just somebody. We want to find the right fit for what we have.
At the same time, we want to keep looking, but things for now seem to be, as Sven indicated, I'm on the committee as well, and things seem to be going pretty well.
Well, one thing is it could get better.
It can always
And
get
if
better.
we had somebody that really was on top of this from
Right.
management company.
Sure,
We could go gangbusters in that
Sure.
place right now. So
sure.
That's just my concern. I'd like to.
No, we need to
see
keep
if we
looking. You're
could
right.
Get somebody rolling and get
Sure.
more help in there and
Sure.
get things working. That's
Certainly,
all-
if anybody knows anybody looking for a part-time job, send them that way. But that's issue, part-time, full-time, all across the board is fine. So, but I think they're doing a pretty good job working through those issues and filling spots where they can, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to mayor council comments. I don't have a lot, but I did just want to certainly highlight, as all of you know before I say it, I'm driving around town, walking my dog around town. It's really great to see so many projects going on, you know, with a couple of industries and downtown and people renovating houses and some people and companies building houses, and there's just, you know, so much going on right now. It's really great to see it as the year has gone on. I think things have picked up and hopefully it'll continue. I don't think there's any reason to believe it won't. It's just really great to see that things are moving forward. That's really all I have. Council?
I just had one thing. I want to say to Chief Vaughn, I really like the electronic speed sign on McKinley. You know, that's a great thing. And I know you move it around every once in a while. And I know we had a concern about Willis, so that might be another targeted street, but I frequently go on McKinley when I'm going to the McCreary building. And how this works, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, it's a sign and it's got the 25 lit up, that's the speed limit, in green, and then right below it, it says thank you. So if you're going 25 miles per hour or less, you get a thank you. You know, if you're over 25, even 1 mile per hour over, it says slow down, and it lights up in red, you know. And this is full disclosure, Chief, but I've been known to go 4 or 5 miles over the speed limit in my life. Only 4 or 5 miles over the speed limit. But when I go along there, I want to see thank you on that sign. And so it has really motivated me to make sure that I get to thank you when I go by that sign.
And then he gets a guess.
Thank you.
I didn't say I did that.
Or maybe if you're going a little slower yet, get an attaboy. So it's not like that. Yeah.
It really did a good job on Iowa Street. You know, they would come blasting over that hill at 50 and 60 sometimes. And it was put there for maybe a month. And geez, it sure made a difference.
It does.
Just having it there. I know people think, oh, man. A lot of people don't think that. when it comes to 4 lane.
I'm motivated by the thank you. That's
How often do you try to move it?
Well, we just got rid of that area on Iowa was the first time. But Mike started. And then really budget for some more signs.
Speed is one thing that I know lots of people are concerned about. I do hear occasional comments from people about speeding, as you all do, I'm sure.
I've got one more comment. It's official. We are going to have a car show back in Perry again this year. October 9th, right down Main Street from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. We'll give 100 dash plaques out for the first 100 cars that show up. Hopefully we get that many. All the permits are filled out. Good learning curve on all of it. But I've had a lot of good support from people letting me know what to do. So it's been fun.
And you're going to guarantee good weather, of course.
Of course.
Okay. Anything else from Mayor Council comments? If not, we'll move on to open forum. If anybody's here, and I believe there are, that wants to speak to fireworks or any other topic tonight, we're going to have just a single open forum tonight. So So now is your chance to speak about fireworks or anything else. And as we always remind people, if you're here for open forum, if you're live and in person, step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record, and we'll give you up to 3 minutes to speak. Of course, if you're here on Zoom, just let you speak without the microphone. So hopefully you can hear us and we can hear you. So, open forum.
Hi, my name is James Kaczynski. I live at 1437 Heritage Avenue, Earlham, Iowa. I am the owner of Freedom Fireworks at a tent sales location here in Perry at Harlan Ace Hardware this year. I want to inform you on the current situation in the fireworks industry. In 2020, fireworks companies had record-breaking sales due to the pandemic. People were locked up, many working from home, very little time spent with friends and family, and could not go anywhere or really do anything, so they turned to other venues to spend their time and money. One of these things was fireworks. There was a large increase in the use of fireworks across the country. Some of this had followed into 2021. This was great for the fireworks industry, but there is a downside to this. Warehouses across the country that distribute and store fireworks were emptied out in 2020. In 2021, some companies were unable to open or had to open less locations due to the massive product shortages. This is only getting worse. It is estimated that it will take several years to get the stock back to normal levels here in the US and allow the pricing and shipping to level out. There had been massive price increases due to demand and massive shipping price increases and shipping problems. In 2019, a normal price to ship a 40-foot container delivered to the Midwest was roughly $15,000. In June this year, it was 25, and it is currently 35,000 right now, and is estimated to possibly hit 40 to 50,000 by sometime next year. This is going to drastically raise prices and cause more people to buy less or any at all. Unfortunately, consumer-grade fireworks are only manufactured in China and a few other countries. There have also been more restrictions added as to when fireworks can be made, and some have special packaging. They do not make them year-round, only certain times of the year due to other circumstances. Many of the shipping issues and price increases, product shortages for many of our everyday items have been disrupted due to the pandemic. Many people have turned to purchasing items online, and many of these products came from China and other foreign countries. I personally believe there will be less fireworks sold in 2022 and the next few years to follow due to the fact of the price increases, product shortages, and the 4th will fall on a Monday next year, and then Tuesday the following year. When the 4th falls on these days, sales are always down. I've been looking at the zoning map, and there are very little, if any, locations at all that I would be able to use as a sales location if the zoning is changed to industrial zone only. Then if I was able to find a location that would work, I may not get permission from the landowner to use it as a sales location, let alone will that location be good for sales, especially with everything in my industry is facing. Location, location, location is key to my business. My business is hyper seasonal. I only get a little over 2 weeks to sell, and if I pick a bad location, then I'm out everything. I don't get a second chance. I don't get to try something different or change things or do different advertising as a normal business would get to do to improve their sales and see the results. Rezoning the fireworks sales locations would be detrimental to my business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, sir? I don't know if I misunderstood the 15,000 and the 20,000. Was that just shipping?
That's just shipping.
Oh, good Lord.
And that's not just fireworks, that's everything. The ports have been so far backed up. There's so many things going on in California at the ports and then other in southern states. Ships, earlier this year, they were sitting, there've been 20, 30, 40 ships sitting on the water, waiting up to a month or even longer before they could even get unloaded. Because there's just such a drastic amount of influx of people buying stuff due to the pandemic. They were just buying everything.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me? On Zoom?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. My name's Brandon with Bolino Fireworks. Obviously, I'm here to oppose the proposed changes as well. Just want to touch on a few things. We've had a retail fireworks location there in Perry since the initial state law was passed back in 2017. We've had a local person run that for us. She might be there in attendance. Her name is Carrie. If she is there, hello, Carrie. believe we're the only retailer that's been there every year. We've always come back. It's been a good location for us. We're typically right there at the Hy-Vee, next to the Ace Hardware, as our competitor there mentioned. Obviously, a lot of the things he said apply to us as well. However, I wanted to go through a few of the numbers that we have in the past. I kind of got the last 2 years compiled. One being 2020, obviously the pandemic led to some good sales for the people that were open. I believe we were the only competitor there in Perry. I just wanted to note that, you know, according to the census, we have you guys as having around 3,100 households, and we did a little over 2,000 transactions. So we sold to roughly 64% of your households. I do understand that someone could come in and make multiple transactions, and there are other small towns around that area. However, that's kind of a significant number in our opinion. You know, it's a good market for us. We believe we're one of the biggest entertainment industries in Perry, as far as, you know, total dollars spent. I know people really enjoy it there. A few other economic things. In 2020 alone, we paid $10,700 in sales tax. We paid over $22,000 to local operators / employees that, you know, operated our stand. We paid over $10,800 in lease payments. You know, a lot of that going to the Hy-Vee. $2,900 in transportation and trucking payments, $3,700 in local tent payments, $1,500 in local dumpster and portable payments, a $500 state inspection fee, for a total around $52,000. And like I said, we think we contacted, you know, about 65% of your households there. Obviously in 2021, our competitor that just spoke there sat by us in sort of the same parking lot. He and I shared sales. You know, we all shared sales. Having said that, we still sold 1,300 transactions for around 43% of Perry households. A lot of those other numbers, I won't read them again, but we're the same. Obviously, we sold a little bit less, paid lower sales tax of about $6,100 this year, $15,300 to local employees, and all those other numbers of the lease payments and whatnot were pretty much the same, for another total of $41,000 spent in that area. In the 5 years we've been there, we've spent around $200,000 if we add up all the commissions, the portables, the dumpsters, the lease payments to Hy-Vees, these type things. I mean, I know Hy-Vee's a big store, but it's something they count on. Ace Hardware as well. We like to think, you know, we're adding them business. We obviously want to be in their parking lot because they have business that we want to sell to as well. But I can guarantee you that the Ace Hardware and the Hy-Vee would have had a small uptick with us being in those parking lots. And, you know, we really think that's important. One thing I wanted to note, I'm not entirely sure how many years you guys have done it, but your fire department or city council or city hall or someone asks that the fireworks stands hand out flyers to all the Perry residents. And that's something we were diligent to do, asking people if they're Perry residents or not. And those flyers were then handed out to those people, and they were, you know, shown right on those flyers when they should be firing or when they shouldn't be. Again, I can't speak to I did read the minutes from August, and I saw that you had some complaints. I would be curious to see what that number was. I hope that, you know, like I said, with this 64% of people or whatever it is shopping, that we're not trying to make too big of a swing on adjustment just based on the complaints of a few. We really want to emphasize, you know, there's a strong desire for people in Perry to buy fireworks. I know discharge there is only 14 hours a year, you know, small fraction of the year. If you have any other questions for me, I'll be glad to answer anything I can. I do have some APA safety statistics and some other things if you'd like to know them. But altogether, you know, we would strongly recommend that the current ordinance stay in place with no changes. moving us out to the industrial area. Much as was said before, it just kind of makes it more challenging. We're still going to strive to be there the best we can. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Open forum. Others, Ray?
Raymond Knapp, 414 Second Street, South Side. I've been thinking on being at different forums and that about what's going on. And I see that the fact that you're trying to control where the fireworks are going off. I do not know what regulations can be done. And I talked to Dean and I said, do we need to set up a system where you have to register that you're going to be doing fireworks or something like that? I understand, but how are they, as of right now, how are the officers going to take and control what's going on outside of the normal window that we can set it off? There's no way there's just, so I don't know that saying, okay, we can't do it, that's not going to stop anything. I know a lot of the people that are doing fireworks, they really don't care what you guys say here. They'll do what they want. And I then look at the side where there's some of us that like fireworks. We do it reasonably, take care of it, but I really am frustrated with the fact that this would be taken away from us, even for us that do abide by the rules and try to be considerate of our neighbors and stuff like that. But so I don't know what the solution is, but I really don't know that banning it completely is going to solve anything that's going on. And then trying to move where you can sell them, that's not going to change anything either. So I don't know. But I'm just really watching and concerned that, you're just getting more people upset with what you guys are doing and there'll be less respect.
Thank you, Ray. Others want to speak tonight for open forum?
I'm Carrie Corrigan. I live at 1820 West 4th Street in Perry. I have been running the Bellino fireworks tent for the past 5 years, and they gave all the numbers. I want to talk about fireworks and the families. First off, the 4th of July celebrations, fireworks signify national pride. Fireworks have been part of Independence Day in the United States since its first celebration in 1777. When customers come into my tent, I'm not good at group, like standing up here and talking to everyone, but I do good at one-on-one. And I talk to my customers. What are you guys doing? What do you guys have planned? Here's the thing. There's very, very few that are like, I just want to go blow something up. Like there are those, but there's very few. The families are making plans. They're getting together. They're celebrating. They're eating. They're watching, their own fireworks show. They're making memories. I think me even growing up in Perry, I have few memories of the 4th of July as I was growing up until my mom and my stepdad moved out in the country. Then of course my stepdad was one of those that went to Missouri and got fireworks. And we had family come over. And it was not just an hour at the park and then 20 or 30 minutes for the city show, which city does a good show. But it was the 3-4 hours, us together, talking, laughing, eating, watching my stepdad let off the fireworks for an hour. These families want that. I don't know how many complaints there were this year. I don't know if they have a number. Yeah, but I don't know if it's close to the 7,800 residents that live in Perry. And so I feel like as city council, I think you guys make decisions on the majority of the city residents and not just on the few that maybe complain the loudest or have the most influence. And so that's my feeling on the fireworks. It's not just about me selling them. Over the 5 years, I see what the families are doing. I see the kids get excited. The dads get excited. These families getting together. Like we don't have much of that. We don't nowadays. This is one day of the year that these families get to do this. And I would hope letting off those fireworks, I would hope these families are letting them know this is about our country. This is to be proud of your country. We are independent. We have more freedoms than most countries have or could think of having. And that's what I feel like, for me, it's not just about the sales. It's what I've seen with these families and these customers over the 5 years, and my own family. We don't get to do it on the 4th of July. We do it after. We're the loud ones, just outside Hy-Vee, like 3 days later, but it's all my family, you know, and we do it in memory of my stepdad too. You know, he's passed away and that was his thing. So I just want you guys to take all of that into consideration too.
Thank you. Anybody else for open forum, either in person or on Zoom, about fireworks or any other topic?
If I might just say one more thing, again, Brandon with Polino. I would say that, there's a lot of cities in the state of Iowa and others that, you can discharge for 10 days, 12, 15. Certainly, one is already quite restrictive. That's basically Perry's one of the smallest, we're in a couple hundred different cities, and Perry's already in the smallest window, pretty much of anybody. So I just wanted to kind of mention that. I mean, it's a city that really likes it. And it's sometimes I wonder, I don't expect you to go the other way, but sometimes I wonder, if it was 10 days, would it be less of a nuisance? That's something to think about, because everybody in town has to light on that one night, and they're going to do so. So yeah, I just hope we can keep that one night, I guess. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. One more time, anybody else for open forum? Hearing no one, we'll move on to old business. Point of order for me, do we need a motion to have a discussion, or do we just have it? We don't need a motion, do we? Do we? No, okay. Since there's no action, okay. Old business, discussion and direction for fireworks regulations. We held a work session on August 27th, as well as received community input regarding fireworks and the regulations around selling and discharging of them. From those communications, staff, we put together options for review in order to draft a new ordinance for council direction. I believe Sven's going to lead us to that discussion tonight.
Yep, and I'm just gonna kind of go high overview of kind of what has been discussed in council meetings, a couple of things, other options of what we've heard elsewhere, as well as a couple of conversations I've had with council. So the first one that has to do with sales, obviously the first option would be to not change anything and just allow sales to be where they have been. Then we could also look at restricting it by zoning to either just heavy or heavy and light industrial. I think Liz looked up setbacks.
Yeah, Eric and me kind of talked about it. The state is really particular already on what the setbacks are. So we kind of discussed, we talked to Dewey a little bit, that it'd probably be best to just go off of what the state says for setbacks.
And the concern with those setbacks was there's some kind of downtown, just south of downtown and inside town, light industrial areas. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to have anything too close to other buildings or residences or things like that for commercial sales. So that was the thought process. We had discussed setback requirements for those tents and things like that. So kind of the change nothing or restrict zoning are the two directions that we're gonna have for council. And I think we should be able to have that on the next agenda for a possible first reading on October 4th. Then the next, when it comes to discharging, a couple of options are out there. First, obviously, is to ban lighting off fireworks completely, which is something that's been discussed. But then also, kind of from the conversation, we also discussed, would it make sense from hearing about not being able to sit outside and enjoy the day, lunch, picnics, whatever? Do we only allow that in the afternoon and evening hours when it makes more sense to light off fireworks anyway? And then the other thing is, as has been said a couple times, in my head, the thing I've heard a lot is, well, nobody's following the rules that we have right now. Well, it's also the 4th of July is the worst day in Perry for fireworks. Well, that's the only day it's legal. So should it be something that we think about extending those days out to allow more days so that it's not so compressed into that one day, which I think our hope a couple of years ago when we did have it a few days and took it down to one is that, you know, it would only be one day, but we didn't realize, you know, there's a lot of gunpowder going off in that one day. So that was another option that we had kind of discussed and came up with. So again, open floor for discussion today. Otherwise, we'll kind of have some of these options and can discuss, and the next meeting, somebody can make a motion on which variations to go with. But there's other discussion tonight that narrows that direction a little bit. It's fine too.
I'll just share a conversation I had with one of the business owners of where they had the tents currently. The concern was that one, it does mean money to the businesses that have the tents, the lease with these firework companies. But his other point was that really moving the tent won't do much to change the fact that people that want to get fireworks are going to get fireworks. That was his point. He said he doesn't think that's going to matter to a hill of beans as far as where you move it to. I said I'd share that thought with the council, and that's what I'm doing. So that's a consideration. The one thing I know about this topic that is so emotional, I think, for a lot of people. And somebody far more intelligent than me said that you can please some of the people some of the time, you can please some of the people all of the time, and you can please all of the people some of the time, but you cannot please all of the people all of the time. I think we're at that point with this topic.
I've had a number of discussions with friends, pickleball friends from other communities about fireworks to find out from them what their thoughts are, because we're all battling a lot of explosives going off. And they were astounded by the fact that we have only one day that's legal. Because they said, boy, you get everybody that wants to shoot off fireworks going on one day and it's going to be total soup. Most communities have more days than just one. And it does tend to moderate the amount going off at any one time. Some people are going to shoot their wad and be done. And some are going to spread them out over whatever time period you have. But their thought was that our one-day restriction is probably putting too much pressure on that one targeted time. That we would be better off spreading it out over a longer period of time so that perhaps we don't have everybody bombing us on the 4th of July. Just a thought. If we're going to allow them.
I'm curious, how do communities that have banned fireworks totally within the city limits, how does it go in their communities?
Not well.
Not well.
I think, I mean, it's, yeah, I know, I want to say one of the news stations, I don't know who it is, has a sky cam, like from downtown towards the Capitol. And the city of Des Moines has banned fireworks, but all you see on the 4th of July is fireworks all across the neighborhoods. I think one of the stations also put a drone up over the metro and just all the communities that had fireworks banned were lit up with fireworks. So, the people that want to do them are going to do them. I think honestly, it probably just puts more pressure on the police department trying to run around responding to calls and trying to control it. So if anything, allowing more days and a little bit more time would be pressure off of the police department rather than trying to enforce a total ban. Which
People don't shoot them off at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, and I think the people that are gonna do that are gonna do it no matter what.
Yeah.
But
Maybe fewer.
yeah,
I've got a concern with more time, they're gonna fire less. What about the people with PTSD, people with asthma, people with pets that can't take fireworks? If you give we had 2 weeks of fireworks anyway. To spread that out more is gonna make more damage to the air, more damage to breathing. I've got a couple friends that have asthma quite badly and they can't go out of their house. It's a tough decision. I don't know if it would make it less. Or if it would just make a lot more for a lot more time. We have them on and off for 2 weeks anyway. So we're not gonna win anyway.
Yeah.
This next decision.
and that's the hard part is there's no cut and dry thing.
It's tough,
But,
yeah.
again, I think with allowing a little bit more time, that air quality issue is spanned out. And then also, I mean, as far as pets or people with health issues, they'll at least know when it's going to be worse that they can plan. So
It's a tough decision. I don't want to take anybody's rights away, but I've heard 300% more people against it than they have for. I haven't had hardly anybody that's
Right.
called and said, hey, I really like this. You got to vote. Fireworks. It's all the people that are really getting mad about what's happening right now. So, we're in kind of a tough spot. What do we do?
No,
Well, and I got a comment that if we do open it up for more days, the working person, is that gonna mean after they get off work, we're gonna have fireworks from 5 to whatever? I mean, they're not gonna be able to light them off during the day when they're working. So you open up 10 days, we're gonna have 10 nights of, and you're gonna have people upset because they can't sleep at night. I don't know.
I think we might be better off setting up 10 o'clock.
But how you gonna
And
do that?
possibly start at 5 o'clock in the
Start at
afternoon
5.
so people can
Yeah.
enjoy eating outside for lunch. Get together with people. Maybe that would be a better restriction.
and I want to
5
say.
10 and that's it. And after 10, you're in a knock and you can go down to the city and listen to fireworks.
I want to say one of our previous ordinances, and Susie might know since she writes the PSAs, but when we had more days, it was only allowed until 10 PM, except the 4th, which was 11 PM. So those other days were always, but I think it was like 10, was it 10 to 10?
When
And not-
the first ordinance, I think, started at 4. I think it was
Oh,
4
okay.
and 10.
And when we had more days, I had several people contact me regarding the number of days and the fact that they or their spouse had to get up and go to work in the morning, and they need to put their children to bed because they had to get them up to go to daycare and those personal family concerns.
Mhm.
no, I didn't have anybody contact me that was in favor of fireworks, but, and I don't mean this in a derogatory manner at all. So please don't anybody take it this way, but I know what basically the socioeconomic status is in Perry of our residents as a whole. We're not a real wealthy, we're not a West Des Moines or a Waukee. You know, we're a working class community, and we have everything to be proud of being a working class community. But that being said, with what I heard from the fireworks companies, the cost of fireworks is going to go even higher for these families that want to have it. I mean, they're taking a big chunk out of their own personal monthly income for fireworks. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you know, it's something that you think would be on the minds of people as they consider fireworks.
Chuck, you have something to share?
Well, I thought it's been a fascinating discussion. From the time I was probably 5 years old, and that's a long time. My family lived on a farm 2 miles north of Abatement, and the 4th of July, we all got in the car and we all went over to the Woodward State Hospital schools, as did all of our neighbors, and they had one of the biggest, nicest fireworks displays that you could ask for back then. And it was something we really looked forward to. We had fireworks at home, but just minor little dabs and stuff, you know, nothing like you could buy today. But I think about the fact that as a family, we look forward to going and doing that, because it was something you only had a chance 1 or 2 times a year, etc. I think we need to be broad-minded. It's not really that much of an inconvenience if for 1 night or 2 nights out of the year, a family next door to you is outdoors having fun. And that's what this boils down to, is having fun and doing some neighborhood things and some family things. And I think we all admit, we know if we vote this thing down, it's going to fail. We're not going to stop fireworks. I think we should approach this to encourage and bring it to everybody's attention that there is a time to do it. There is a problem if you do it too much, if you're careless, stuff like that. And try to get the city residents working with us to make this a better situation with everybody working together. And it seems to me that if we really try to sell that idea and talk about that idea and promote that idea, that we can maybe let people have their fun and not hurt very many other neighbors either. Everybody has the rights. You know, everybody has a right to have fun. Everybody has a right to a good night's sleep. You have to blend it all together somehow. But I just think we're barking up a tree that we cannot support in any way, shape, or form if we try to ban the sales or ban the use. So if we can do it in a cooperative way with our people, and so bring them on board and realize there is a situation and maybe work with us to make it better, that's the way I'd like to go.
Other discussion? As we've pointed out, it's not an easy topic to really come to grips with. When I was a child, many long years ago, we had a neighbor who went to Missouri and bought fireworks. My dad made sure he visited the neighbor's house every year to buy fireworks. And my dad so looked forward to taking some fireworks, putting them in a coffee can or a little tin can and putting them under the neighbor's bedroom window every morning. I mean, 4th of July morning. And it was just good fun. They were great. He enjoyed shooting off his Roman candles 4th of July night. And we didn't have anything big. They didn't really sell that much bigger, or at least if they did, our friend didn't bring back many back from Missouri. But fireworks have been a tradition for a long time. We talked about even longer than Chuck and I remember. But it's not an easy thing to address, really.
And if if I may, an illegal tradition
Mhm.
technically. Until
Yeah.
2017, but I'm guilty of it.
Mhm.
I think a lot of us probably are, but now it's kind of a matter of, is it out of hand or not?
Yeah, it's, we've had a lot of good discussion. I'm hearing that we're still open to looking at not banning fireworks completely. But I'm also hearing that somehow we need to do our best to get a handle on it, which I would concur with if we continue. So I guess to be continued, but it's been a good discussion. And as Doc pointed out, this is one of those cases where you won't make everybody.
And I will, again, I think I did this at our last meeting, but I'll take the opportunity again to remind anybody reading minutes or watching on Pegasus or anything that all of council's contact information is on the city's website. So your information is out there that if people want to contact you for or against fireworks, that they can get a hold of you, and both phone numbers and email addresses of your city email accounts. So it's out there if people want to get a hold of you.
And I would like to recognize and thank council as well as Sven and others for, in my opinion, doing our due diligence with fireworks, giving it, good consideration before we rush into anything. And also giving others an opportunity to speak out as they've done. And I appreciate everybody that's tonight's meeting and earlier meetings that have spoken out about fireworks and shared their concerns and where they think we need to go. So I think we've had some good discussion. This time we started early, and I think we'll end up with a good result. Well, please. All right. If there's nothing else on fireworks, we will move to new business, which is resolution approving tax abatement applications for residential construction completed in 2021 in Perry, Iowa. As we all know, the purpose of the tax abatement program is to promote new residential construction and renovation in the city of Perry by reducing the amount of property tax homeowners have to pay on new construction, rehabilitation, and/or major improvements. Citizens that want to make those improvements or do new construction must apply to the city council for tax abatement and be approved by resolution, as we all know. Once approved, the council's applications are submitted to the Dallas County Assessor for review for the tax exemption, and a list of current applications were included with tonight's packet.
I move that
Need a motion?
Yeah, I move that we approve the tax abatement applications for residential construction completed in 2021 as submitted.
Discussion?
So I think these are mostly the ones on 28th Street that Oakstone Homes is building. And I want to say this brings us to about 20. So about 20 new homes so far this year. A little bit of a bounce back from last year. It was a little bit more down, but I think this is a great opportunity. So hit around 20 this year. And then I believe this developer is looking at building the rest of the road in the spring. And getting those lots and starting to build those with another 20 back in there, correct? Yep. So, and we've also been getting some inquiries about other people putting in subdivisions and planned unit developments as well. So I really think this is gaining some traction and getting some attention. So some really good things.
Major renovations that are going.
Yeah. Yeah, see,
Just driving around the neighborhoods, what you see people doing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
They've
know
gutted that house.
Scott really churns out those building permits, so he does a great job keeping up on that. Yeah. There's just a lot going on, so some
There is.
good things. And also some big projects.
Yes.
Percival expansion is really coming along. They're getting their walls up. Looks like they're about to start on the roof. And then I don't know if you saw it in back, but TC&B has added on, is it about 8,000? I think 8 or 9. Is it 12? Okay. A few thousand square feet onto their building for office space. So they're gonna use that 30,000 of the original shell building for warehouse, and they're gonna have an additional office space on that. So that's all framed in. I think windows are in that. They're starting the interior work. So just some really good projects going on.
Progressive Foundry over here is making a beautiful new office space in front of that building. That's gonna change that appearance there.
He hasn't moved out there yet, have they?
So,
Aren't they still at their old place?
sorry, so TC&B, the warehouse inventory has moved out there, but their office staff is not.
Right.
Okay.
So, and then the foundry, as you said, is really coming along. It's gonna look really nice.
Now, those walls.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch them
Yeah, it
unload them
was.
with the crane. Yeah, I made sure I steered away from it. Any other discussion on the tax abatement applications? If not, call the roll, please.
McCauley.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Berkland.
Yes.
Schott. Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, council approval, fixing a time and place for a nuisance abatement hearing. Ms. Linda, looks like Feth, on September 16, 2021, placed a request with the city clerk to have a hearing before city council in regards to a notice, abatement notice she received on her property located at 2019 Otley Street on September 9th, 2021, in accordance with city ordinance 50.13. Council is to fix the time and place of such a hearing. City council would recommend, or excuse me, city staff would recommend holding the hearing during the October 4, 2021 regular council meeting. Need a motion, please?
I move that we approve the fixing the time and place for a nuisance abatement hearing.
And I assume you're proposing that we fix the time and place for October 4th during the regular council meeting. Okay. Any discussion?
I think there was some information in the packet.
Yeah, there was.
But, yeah. So,
If there's no discussion, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Berkland.
Yes.
McCauley.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item, approval of pay request retainage 2 for the McCurry Building renovation. Pay request retainage 2 in the amount of $14,386 to Ball Team LLC. Releases of retainage on the project. A portion of the retainage had been withheld until the contractor completed paint repairs in the gym, which were completed earlier this summer and have been performing as required by the contract. Documents per senior project manager Dana Peterson. All documents have been reviewed and certified by the senior project manager Dana Peterson with Ethos Design Group and is recommended for approval. Need a motion, please?
Move that we approve pay request retainage 2 from the McCurry Building.
I'll second.
Discussion?
The gym is holding up well.
and I think this is one that Liz had to remind the contractor that we still had some money. Once she reminded the contractor, they got the pay request together very quickly. But, yep, the gym paint is going up well and the whole
Yeah.
project.
The whole project.
Nothing but great things.
Uh,
The Dallas County Foundation donated $20,000 to the project. And they just had a board meeting there last week and went on a tour and everybody just loved what there. So things are going really well. I think financially, things are going well out there. So really great improvements to be able to show off our team.
It was needed and it certainly has been a worthwhile project.
Absolutely.
If there's no other discussion, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Berkland.
Yes.
McCauley.
Yes.
Schott.
Okay. Thank you. Resolution approving the comprehensive plan scope of work with Bolton and Mink. The city of Perry is seeking to update the current comprehensive plan and intends to engage the services of Bolton and Mink Inc. to provide support in the process. The city administrator has met with representatives from Bolton and Mink Inc. to discuss the proposed approaches, goals, and work plan for the project. And Bolton and Mink has prepared a comprehensive plan scope of work to provide service for the update. This plan would also include detailed analysis and planning for utility infrastructure and would take 12 to 18 months to complete, spanning into the next fiscal year. The estimated fee for services is $155,000 and is open for further negotiation subject to modifications on the proposed scope of work. The proposed sources of funding would come from local option sales taxes, sewer and storm sewer, and a donation from Perry Economic Development, PED. Need a motion, please?
I move that we approve the comprehensive plan scope.
Discussion?
All right, so kind of starting from the back forward, Perry Economic Development did donate $15,000 for the city to do a comprehensive plan this year. This was also partially budgeted for in this spring's budget process for our current fiscal year. And then it will span enough that if we need to, we can either just amend this budget or budget additional funds in future fiscal years. But I think Rose is on Zoom as well from Bolton Mink. She is their planner, but Matt is also here to talk about it a little bit as well. But this is really kind of the 30-year, 20 to 30-year guide for decisions of what our vision is for the community. And I'm hoping that this is a comprehensive plan, sort of in name only, if that makes sense. I don't know if Rose and Matt might be ready to push me out a window.
But it's mostly infrastructure.
Well, it really goes, it crosses a lot of things. Infrastructure, housing, community development.
From, history of the community development, economic development. It's not just infrastructure, but looking at overall growth of the community, how to position ourselves for growth. And then actually a unique element of this, and Rose, you can speak to this better than I can, but a lot of times when communities go through and do a comprehensive plan, you end up with a document that is 2 inches thick and it sits on a city manager's shelf somewhere. The goal of this is that this is a living document and it has an implementation plan as a part of that. So it sets aside annual goals. It has a matrix that we are able to evaluate it every year. How are we doing? Do we need to focus on different categories? Turns it into a living goal.
So it's fit into the comprehensive plan.
Right. So our current comprehensive plan was adopted in, I think, December of 2013 and kind of started in 2012 into 13. So kind of the usual lifespan is 8 to 10 years. So we're right in that time window. And we wanted to make sure that we got through the 2020 census to get updated census numbers and statistics. But like Matt said, I'm really hoping and expecting that we have a strong focus on the implementation. Because so as a scholar planner from Iowa State, comprehensive plans can really bug the crap out of me sometimes because they are just the thing that you do because you have to go through the process and then you don't really do much with it. But that's why I really want to make this more of a strategic comprehensive plan that has a very outlined implementation plan that guides our budgeting process really strongly, as well as our policy making process when it comes to, maybe even fireworks. We could look at this comprehensive plan and see where it and how that guides it, but
Right.
more so looking at planning and zoning issues, other ordinances like that, but and really setting timelines. Most comprehensive plans are just kind of you should do this short term, midterm or long term. But this is going to say August of 2024, City Council is going to have this on the agenda for consideration for, a new zoning ordinance or something like that. So, so that's really what I'm going for. So it's really more of that 5 and 10 year strategic, actionable, comprehensive plan that we're going for, rather than kind of a fluffy comprehensive plan. Typical.
And our current comprehensive plan didn't have that. You know, I think a lot of good work went into the one that was done a number of years ago, but I think it's time for an update. And I like the part about adding dates, and it should be something we're asking ourselves all the time. How does this fit into that comprehensive plan?
Yeah. And I'm also hoping that sets us up for either an annual or biannual strategic planning session, that we do better about really revisiting that, going through it, and having more conversations related to the big picture stuff that we're doing outside of just budget season. So I'm hoping that it really sets us up well for that as well.
And that's what I was gonna bring up. I'm glad you said that, because I think we need to be involved too, and not just come to a meeting and say, well, this is what we got, you know, such and such a date. Let us get to go through that too.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I think it sounds wonderful. 'Cause that's the problem that I've always seen with comprehensive plans, is that there they are on the shelf.
Yeah.
We did it. Yay for us.
You know, circling back a little bit to your question on how long or you know, what the shelf life of this is, going through our current comprehensive plan, we have checked a lot of stuff.
I
off
know,
there.
I know, and that's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
is that, you know, we said we want to do this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And we did 5 of the 6, or
Yep.
6 of the 7, or
Yep.
whatever it was.
And I love to be able to point at Mike and say, Mike is one of the boxes we checked off of that.
Yes.
Because one of the things was hiring an economic development specialist. So I think, you know, that was a great thing for us to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with what has happened since we had that comprehensive plan. It's been more actionable than I thought it would be.
Are you gonna do the same for this next one? We're gonna have ding, 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 and we can check off.
That's the goal. That's why we can look back and say, how did we do?
Yeah.
You know, it's been incredible the last
Yeah.
6, 7 years I've been on the board. Man, have we dropped a lot of things off that list.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
But we can't get too wild with this plan.
No, I was gonna say.
Don't dream up too many things, Dean.
Oh.
Limited
Rose,
budget.
Rose is also on. Rose, did you have anything you wanted to share other than cuss words about me?
No, well said by everyone, but yeah, it's one of the things I would just reiterate that's already been said, is that not only will we focus on it being actionable, Sven, you and I have talked about this, but we really sort of do work up a template almost as a report card, right, for that annual or biannual check-in on sort of what's the status of these things, and is it still relevant, or have we already achieved it, or have priorities moved around? So we really focus on that. And also to your point about not just checking boxes, of course, we all know that, you know, there's a lot of demographics, there's a lot of kind of that background information that goes into a long range plan, but I think it's important to take it a step farther and not just check the box that we put it in the plan, but help people, whether that's commissions, councils, or the general public, understand, why does that information matter? How is that informing the rest of the plan? So that's something we always like to focus very much on, as well as a very significant public engagement process that really tries to hit kind of all corners of the community. So that is all I have, Sven, unless you have specific questions.
Does council have questions?
No, I think it sounds like a wonderful idea.
I think, you know, the first one really helped us move forward, as we've already discussed, and I think this one will help us move even further. And it's kind of the next step for the next 5 to 10 years, what we can do. Sounds exciting. Any other discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Cully,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Having no other business before us, we stand adjourned at 7:04 PM.